Friday will be the last day on the job for John Flynn in his role as Erie County District Attorney. He has decided to leave the job during his second term and go into the private sector. What you may not know is that DA Flynn is a veteran. He served in the Navy, but he came home, attended UB Law School, and still continued to serve the country. He's been a Tonawanda judge and, of course, the District Attorney for Erie County. 2 days before he exits County Hall, District Attorney John Flynn is joining me live in studio. How does it feel to be walking away from the job as the top prosecutor?
It feels good, and it feels good in the sense that I'm happy with what I accomplished. I'm happy with what I did. Obviously, the job is, not really happy because of the subject matter you deal with, unfortunately. But, I'm very pleased with my accomplishments and with what we've done in that office.
You're walking away during your second term. What do you say to the voters who really wanted you to serve the full term? And then also, what about those unresolved cases that are in your office? Some I'm sure you wanted to see all the way through.
Well, I told the voters, 8 years ago when I ran, I was only going to do 2 terms. So I was up for re-election this year. I decided, not to run for re-election this year. And a business opportunity arose where, my future employee, Lippes Mathias, wanted me to come sooner rather than later to get there for this, a unique business opportunity. So, yeah, I'm leaving a few months early, but again, like I said, I'm satisfied. Every case that is in the pipeline right now just continues on. Today we were able to, resolve a big case with an indictment. That case will now go forward with the prosecution like the other thousands of cases that we have there. So nothing stops, everything keeps moving along, and the office will continue to do justice.
Let's get into the mind of a prosecutor. Just take us there. Your biggest case, and why was that case your biggest case?
Oh, well, clearly Tops. I mean, obviously the Tops shooting was the biggest criminal matter in the history of the city of Buffalo, going back 200 years plus. I mean, it was obviously, a devastating day in the city of Buffalo. It was a devastating case. Not only, anytime 10 lives are lost, it makes it devastating. But the reason why 10 lives were lost, because of the color of the victim's skin, is just, it was infuriating that day, and I'm continuing to be infuriated by it. So it was by far the biggest case that, hopefully this community ever sees ever again.
Was there any case that didn't go your way that still upsets you to this day?
Yeah, there was a couple of, domestic violence cases that we had out there where one in particular was a South Buffalo domestic violence case where, there was a not guilty verdict. I think the biggest thing that really, bothers me to this day is the fact that no one was ever held criminally accountable for the priest sex scandal abuse that plagued this area. And again, that was really no fault of anyone's in law enforcement. The fact of the matter was that every single case that was brought before us was too old. We couldn't do it based upon the statute of limitations. But that doesn't provide any solace to the victims. Everywhere I go, people always say, why isn't anyone being prosecuted? I mean, every day we see churches being closed and the bankruptcy in the diocese and Catholic schools being closed. And the reason for it, I get it that the number of priests is dwindling, but the bankruptcy obviously didn't help. And the reason why they're in bankruptcy is because of all these lawsuits. But the civil lawsuits aren't the same as a criminal matter. And bringing someone to criminal justice sends a statement, quite frankly. And we were unable to do that just by the nature of the facts of the case. But it still bothers me to this day, though.
You were able to head a District Attorneys Association. What changes need to be made in Albany?
Well, I think we need to simplify things. I think we need to simplify things in the sense that, if you want to make misdemeanors, not eligible for bail, I got no problem with that, all right? As long as there's some, there should be some, caveats to it. But, overall, no kid should be in jail before trial for stealing a candy bar at Walmart, in my opinion. But, I do believe that we need to have all felonies bail eligible. And that would make it simpler. If you just have felonies bail eligible and you have misdemeanors, the way it is now, not bail eligible. That would be, I think, a simple approach to kind of getting through the confusion.
Bail reform really was something that came up a lot during your term. Let's talk about when it comes to jury selections. I know before it was always this push to try and make sure we get a jury of your peers.
Yes.
Have you seen a difference now in juries, that we're seeing a more diversified jury pool?
No, we're not. This is another troubling aspect of the criminal justice system. We recently, when I say recently, about a year ago, established a task force with state judges, federal judges, and myself to see what we could do to diversify the jury pool. We are in the process of that, working through that task force, but this is something that we really need to look at, because we are not getting, the unfortunate reality, Claudine, is that the majority of the cases that go to trial are the serious murders, shootings, and unfortunately, 9 out of 10 times it involves a young African-American male. And, the jurors are all white. Even in the grand jury. I went in the grand jury to say goodbye. The 25 members of the grand jury, I have two 25-member grand juries. I had one African-American in each grand jury out of 25.
So for people who are watching, they're probably wondering, okay, well, why is that?
Yeah, well, again, that's what we're trying to figure out. I mean, we're trying to figure out, is it transportation issues? Is it child care issues? Is it just I don't want to get involved in a criminal justice because I don't trust it? And so I think it's part of that, quite frankly. I think that, a lot of people, just don't trust the system. And, that breaks my heart, because for 7+ years, I really tried to make it fair. I've tried to express and portray through my media appearances, through my speeches, through my community activity, that I'm fair and I'm in charge. I am the criminal justice system. If you think about it, I'm the top law enforcement official.
You're the top dog.
And if I'm fair and I'm doing things a fair way, then why don't people perceive the system as fair? And so I don't like that optic. I mean, I really try to make it fair, and hopefully we can do better, and hopefully we can get the message out there and address the needs of the community to get them to trust the system more.
And you can walk away also knowing that some people who were behind bars for a long time are now free.
Yes.
And some of that is because of you.
That's a matter of fairness, I think. That's a matter of me looking at a situation that someone brought to my attention and said, hey, DA, can you look at this? I think something's amiss here. And I looked at it, I recognized that something was amiss, and I did the right thing. And again, that's what it's all about, being fair. And I hope that I've done that in my 7 years.
I think people will appreciate you saying that and what you have done. So what's next for you?
Well, I'm going, like I said before, I'm going back into private practice. I'm going to Lippes Mathias, which is the best law firm in town, quite frankly. And I'm looking forward to, getting back in private practice. But, hey, I'm still going to be involved in this community somehow. I love Buffalo. I love Erie County. And I've given my life to my country and my community. And, I'm not going to stop doing that.
Erie County District Attorney John Flynn wrapping it up on Friday. We thank you so much for coming to spend some time with us on the 5:30, and thank you for all you do, and also thank you for giving us access to your office to know what was happening in the courts. We appreciate it. That was DA John Flynn.